Yes, my question is, and actually, this was asked by one of our Young Lives students. She asked, how will I know if I would regret having an abortion?
Hi, and welcome to Reframing the Questions. We're so glad you joined us today, and I'm thrilled to be here with my friend Annie Bandolik with Young Lives. Hey, Annie.
Hi, Angie. Good to see
Good
you.
to see you too. Can you tell us a bit about what you do and your position with Young Lives?
Yes, so I serve as the divisional coordinator for Young Lives in the Midwest. And Young Lives is under the umbrella of Young Life. Young Lives specifically works with pregnant and parenting teenagers to do
Amazing.
that. So it's a
Amazing.
very special part of the ministry.
Absolutely. And you have a great question for us to unpack today. Go ahead.
Yes, my question is, and actually, this was asked by one of our Young Lives students. She asked, how will I know if I would regret having an abortion? And
Wow.
kind of just to maybe give you a little backstory
Yes.
is
Yes.
she had one child when she was 14 and she got pregnant again and kind of had a path in front of her where she was excited about going to college, excited about some of the next things, and loves her son so much, but
Mm.
just was kind of faced with this thought and decision and asked us, our mentor and our staff person through Young Lives, that question: how will I know if
Wow.
I would regret having an abortion?
Wow. There's so much to unpack with this, so we'll try to hit it from different angles. First of all, as the director, how do you feel that your staff person was safe? Like, how does that hit you in terms of how often do Young Life participants feel like they can talk to you guys about that? Like, speak to that part because I don't see that happening all the time in Christian spaces. So,
Yeah, well, I know that was like such a blessing. And that's our goal, right? Like the whole model of Young Lives is this relational ministry, is like a mentor is paired with a mentee. And really, the task is to walk with them through the ups and downs of adolescence, through the
yeah.
ups and downs of navigating parenthood and um, high school and all of those things, right? So, yes, immediately my first thought was, what a blessing that this woman felt safe enough to ask us to talk through this with her, right?
Yes.
And that she didn't even bring up the question in a way where she would have felt judged or
Right.
um, scared to ask. That she really did feel safe. That was the first thing. And then I think it just reminded me, like, oh my gosh, like what these girls are carrying. You know, like if she didn't have this place to ask this question, what do you do with those questions? Ask
Right.
ChatGPT? Like, I'm
Right. Well,
serious.
yeah, I mean, right. Right. Sad. I mean, yes, we would,
Yeah,
but yeah. How
yeah.
hard? Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
Oh
think
my
that just,
gosh.
yeah, made me feel grateful that she had the person to talk through that with. And then, of course, her mentor took her question super seriously and
Yeah,
continues
of
to walk with her.
course.
So,
So that is beautiful. And the reason I ask that is because I don't usually go into the territory of what do we say when a woman is considering abortion
mm,
because Christians have for so long focused on that as if, and there's a lot of reasons, like that's the one time it's going to make a difference, which I don't
mhm,
believe. There's this whole narrative going on. Also, they aren't always walking beside a woman like you just described. So you
mhm,
just described a very beautiful, Jesus-like, organic relationship where I think these questions can healthily come up. But a lot of times
mhm,
people are asking because they're going to go say this to someone. So I just want to
mhm,
make that distinction. I actually love that we're unpacking this because she felt safe to bring this very tender question to you guys. And that this is a great way to unpack that. So the first thing is when you think about what do we say, how does it hit you if we reframed it with what questions do we ask back when someone
mhm.
asks us this? How does that feel? And even with your ministry model and with what happened?
Yeah, that's right on. I mean, I think that is always how we instruct our mentors is just ask what's behind that, right? Like try
Yeah.
to continue the conversation. So if you just answer it and give advice as opposed to asking more questions, then you stop the conversation, right?
Exact. What
Absolutely.
does that look like for you guys? Because you're the reason I wanted to explore this question with you. You're an expert, in working in one-on-one ministry. How did that go? How did that conversation go of exploring deeper what's really happening?
Yeah, it's interesting because since she already has a son, it was a lot of focus on that, right? So the
Of
mentor
course.
just kept asking, like, what was it like having your son?
Right.
But are there times that are really hard and challenging and you feel alone or you
Yep.
feel like, gosh, um, my life would be different if, you know, of course, right? And especially for a young girl. I mean, she was 14 when she had her son.
Um,
And we work with kids, I say kids. I mean, they're so young. And so
yeah.
they're still like in this mentally where they're dreaming still a lot. Like,
Yes.
what do you want to be when you grow up? Is a really normal question for like somebody
Hmm.
that age.
Of
And
course.
even our teen moms, who like a
Yes.
lot of times society will look at them and say, like,
Uh,
their life is over, this is what they've done, like blah blah blah. But really, like they're still thinking like, oh my gosh, I'd love to be fill in the blank, right? And so, really helping them dream still and hold on to that while helping them walk the reality of their
yep.
day to day is an important thing that we ask our mentors to do and just really help love them through it, right? Because
Oh my
sometimes that
gosh.
can feel really erratic, but it's actually super normal. It's just they're part
Yeah.
of their developmental stage of this is appropriate, and they've also got a child that they're responsible for too, that
Yeah.
we as mentors and really as the bigger church are responsible for helping them too.
100% agree with that. And I want to get to that. I want to say first that that question, what are you fearful of, is the
Mhm,
most honoring thing we can do. We talk about equal value, equal dignity for the woman and the child, and honoring that God has intertwined them during pregnancy and holding that in high value and understanding the weight of what it means for a woman. In an ideal
mhm,
society, which we'll talk about, there would be a lot more support around a
mhm,
woman. That
right.
isn't always the case. And so honoring that is so dignifying to her. Um, what are you fearful of? Because
Mhm,
what has to happen here is she has to get to the point where she feels free to say what she wants. And I think
mhm,
sometimes Christians, what I'm observing is we're afraid of that.
mhm,
Even I know the word agency gets maybe used on one political side of this, but
mhm,
I was talking with someone, it's even a term counselors use to talk
mhm.
about like, in looking at
Yeah,
Jesus and free will, like that's part of being human is we get to make decisions. Um, and
absolutely.
and obviously we want to make the decisions that are best for us and other people, not decisions to
Mhm,
harm. It's just that people aren't making these in a vacuum. And so,
mhm,
what this young woman wanted and what she felt like she could do might have been totally different. But what
mhm,
I've seen in my expertise, if someone had come in and said either to her, well, just have the child, you need to have the child because it's a life. Let's say she
mhm,
made that decision.
mhm,
That's where resentment comes in because she didn't feel like she had agency. Someone told her that. I've
mhm,
also seen testimony from women that everyone in their life was like, yeah, terminate, have an
mhm,
abortion because you can't go to college. And that isn't what she wanted.
mhm,
Those women do have regrets after
mhm,
abortion. Not everybody does. Those women do
mhm.
because they didn't have agency. So I
Yeah.
think that's why it's so important to pull it out of politics, pull it out of maybe what we've been taught about what's our responsibility to
Mhm,
say, and think our responsibility is to dignify her, to ask her questions,
mhm,
to get to the root so she can do what she wants to do, and for us not
mhm,
to be afraid of what she
mhm.
wants to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So let me ask you a question then beyond that, because I, I just had to say that because
Mhm,
I get nervous. Even your colleague handled it so well. I've just heard so many stories from women that didn't feel seen and heard when they brought this
mhm.
to Christians. So I
Yeah,
wanted to
yeah.
really make sure we covered that with questions first.
Mhm,
What you brought up a really good point. It's our responsibility as Christians to walk alongside
mhm,
women and their children.
mhm,
And that is something we actually don't do really well in this country. I
mhm,
don't think we don't have a sense of We have a shared responsibility.
And what I think happens is like our mentors through training, and oftentimes it's through the hands-on work, right? Like actually getting to talk to girls and walk with them and experience some of the honestly some of the tumultuous things that these girls experience, that their heart just grows and grows for
Mm,
these girls, right? And so we've just seen that time and time again, and so I feel like I can speak better to that than, like, the bigger church. I'm like, because
yeah.
the answer isn't gonna be better children's ministry or better
Nope.
moms groups, right? The
Nope.
answer is, like, the somebody feeling connected. Like, it is
Yes.
the hardest thing in the world to do to ask for help, and so if you feel like you have a safe place to go to ask for help, whether that's emotional support or, like, a tangible need, then you feel like you have that support. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like,
Yes.
but until then, it doesn't matter how many programs are offered. That's
Right.
not what's going to be the solution, right?
Right.
So we've seen that heart change through our
Mm.
mentors.
And you're talking about Christians being transformed through proximity,
A
basically,
hundred
right?
percent. Yes.
And empathy. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, that I think this is an issue, and we've talked so much about how to vote, what to say to apparently maybe a stranger, someone serving through
Mhm,
a ministry, but we haven't talked about proximity and
mhm,
empathy enough. And that's
mhm,
what you guys are doing, which
mhm,
is amazing. What does that do for the young women? Like, what do you
mhm,
see happen to them, either
mhm,
emotionally or how they dream? And
mhm.
do they say anything to you about, oh, this feels different? Like, what's it like for them to experience
Yeah.
that?
I think, like, our deepest need as humans is to feel deeply known and deeply loved,
Yep.
right? And so that doesn't happen overnight. But over time, and you can imagine a lot of the girls that we work with have walls that are up extremely high
Yeah.
because of what
Protecting,
they've
right?
experienced.
Self
Yes.
protection.
Sometimes this takes a long, long time, but over time, with consistency and a lot of love and prayer, I have seen girls be transformed. We had a alumni reunion about a year ago. We had a bunch of Young Lives alumni come,
Oh,
and it blew me away, like, what they're doing in their lives right now. I mean, these women are incredible, and just to brag on them for a second, it's like
yes, please.
one of them's an early childhood specialist, one of them's a mortician, one of them's a deputy sheriff, one of them is a teacher and has been a teacher in the same school for, like, 6 years. I'm like, these people are not just, like, holed up in their house doing nothing. I don't know what people's
Right.
perception is.
Sometimes it's
But,
that. Yeah.
they're really striving to be better, and oftentimes I've heard, like, these girls express that having their child was their turning point, right? Like, they were
Mm,
going down a path, their life was looking a certain way. Having their child made them take things more serious, you know? And so then being a part of Young Lives had really helped them have a group of support. And it's interesting because as I was sharing, like, Young Life works typically or predominantly, I would say, with middle school and high school students.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
so in my past roles in Young Life, I've worked with high school students are um, who are, you know, figuring out who they are and trying to dream about the future, but not with the intensity of
Mm,
these Young Lives girls, right? Like,
mm,
they're looking at it different because now they have somebody else that they're caring for and they want to take it seriously and they want to be better for their kids, like we all do. I mean, I think
yes.
that as a mom, I wanna be better for my daughters, and they're no different, you know? And
Yes.
so, um, I don't know, that's really what I see in them, and I see, them just feeling like they can let their guard down. And
Mm.
again, that doesn't happen overnight, but that happens with a lot of time and consistency.
And honestly, if we
Mhm,
could just do that, wow.
mhm.
The
I
and I
know.
love that you were like, I can't speak to the whole church. But you did, because you guys are the church, you are part of the body. You actually are
Mhm.
showing us how to do
Yeah.
that. And it is about having relationship with the people around us so they feel safe. Again, I
Mhm,
think sometimes people think really meta, like, I got to go
mhm,
out and do this. It's more just
mhm.
what you guys are doing. You're embodying
Mhm.
Christ in your work, and you're
Mhm.
safe. And you're changing the narrative for so many young women, which is amazing. So,
Aw,
wow.
thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing this really tough question. When I saw it, I knew it was tough, but I knew I wanted to explore it with you. So, thank you so
Yes,
much.
thank you.
And thank you for being here with us today. I hope that Annie's question, and as we dialogued about it, has helped reframe the question for you. And we look forward to seeing you next time.